warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I'm Nurul Fitria. In this video, I would like to explain to you what is phonology in linguistics. So I have 5 points here that makes you understand about phonology. The first is definition of phonology. The second is vowels. Third is consonant, and fourth is contrast between vowels and consonant, and the last is diphthongs. So without any further ado, let's start by the explanation of definition of phonology. So there are two definitions of phonology, as you can see. The first is phonology refers either to the representation of sound and sound pattern in speakers' mental grammar, or the study of the sound pattern in a language or in human language in general. And second is phonology refer to subdiscipline within linguistics concerned with the sound of language. More narrowly, phonology proper is concerned with the function, behavior, and organization of sound as linguistic items. And the second point is vowels. So vowels are speech of sound made with open vocal tract, so the tongue doesn't actually touch the upper surface of the vocal tract at any particular place, and the term place of articulation is not really appropriate. Even though it may be difficult to tell where the tongue is supposed to be, if you try to pronounce the vowels, you will notice that it's not touching the top of the vocal tract. Atau bisa dikatakan bahwa pengucapan vowels ini tidak mengalami pergeseran dengan organ vokal lain, seperti saat mengucapkan M, for example, mulut kita akan menutup, sedangkan vowels tidak, vowel sound tidak. An example of vowel sound are A, I, E, O, U, which are common vowels in the English language. But there are many other types of vowels also used in English language, as you can see in the table. And we jump to the classification of vowels. According to the former criterion, English vowels can be classified as 1. Front vowels. The tongue is slightly moved forward to pronounce the front vowels. Example like E, E. The second is center vowels. The tongue remains in the middle, neither forward or backward, and pronouncing is done with the unstressed sound like E, E. And the last is back vowels. The tongue will move back slightly with the lips round to make back vowels like example O. Because the tongue has a very important role in pronouncing vowels, the height of the tongue will determine the sound produced. Therefore, here are some grouping of the tongue height in the pronunciation of vowels. First is height. The tongue will lift upward when pronouncing high vowels. And as the definition suggests, even though it is raised, the tongue doesn't actually touch the top of vocal tract. For example, like E, E. And middle, just like the central vowels, the position of the tongue when pronouncing middle vowels is in the middle, neither forward or backward. For example, like O, O. And the last is low. The body of the tongue will lower and the mouth will open when pronouncing low vowels. For example, like A, A. And the third point is consonant. Consonant phonetically are sound produced by closing or narrowing the vocal tract of the airflow is neither prevent or restricted, so that apparent friction is generated. There are classification of a consonant. The first is a voicing. Voicing in consonants refer to whether or not the vocal cord vibrate during the production of a particular consonant sound. So there are two types of voicing. The first is voiced consonant. The vocal cord come together and vibrate while the sound is being produced. Example of voiced consonant like B or D. And second is voiceless consonant. It's produced without vibration of the vocal cord. Example of voiceless consonant are P or T. Agar mudah untuk memahaminya, teman-teman bisa meletakkan jari pada area tenggorokan. Apabila terasa getaran, maka itu termasuk terasa getaran saat mengucapkan salah satu dari konsonan, maka itu termasuk voice konsonan. Sedangkan jika tidak terasa getaran, termasuk pada voiceless konsonan. And the second place of articulation, bilabial contrast of the lip, lower and upper lip, example P, and labiodental lower lip touching with the upper front teeth like F, dental tongue touching the teeth like T, alveolar tongue touching the upper alveolar reed like D, palatal tongue contracting their hard palate like R, and velar tongue touching the velum, example like K, and glottal totally or the particularly tightening the glossing like H. While you read this definition, make sure you also see the picture in the screen for the clear definition, clear explanation, understanding. And the third one is manner of articulation. And so manner articulation, there are separate into and the third one is manner of articulation. The first one is the stop, the total abstraction of the outgoing airstream by articulator. Example like P, voiceless bilabial like pour, happen, and cup, and B, voice bilabial like black, rainbow, and knob. And second is fricative, forcing the breath stream with a contraction formed by articulator in vocal tract. Example like F, voiceless labiodental like frog, leaf, and laugh. And V, voice labiodental like fish, river, and leaf. And the third is affricate, combination of stop and a fricative manner of pronouncing. Production, example like voice alveolar like joke, badger. And four is nasal, complete closure of the oral cavity and the lower volume, soft palate to allow airflow through the nasal cavity. Example like M, voice bilabial like mark, among, and rum, and voice alveolar like near and knife. And the last is and five is liquid generic label used to classify two English approximate consonant sound like E and R. Example like L and R. Example like L, voice alveolar like look, typology, and call. And the last is glide, and continue gliding motion of the articulator through the following folds. Example like W, voice bilabial like where and to or and where. And the four point of this and the fourth point of this explanation is contrast between vowels and consonant. This is the easiest way to understand the differences between vowels and consonant. A vowel is a speech sound made with your mouth very open and nucleus of the spoken syllable, and while the consonant is a sound made with your mouth very close. And the last point is diphthong. Diphthong comes from the Greek word like diphthongs, which means two sound. A diphthong is a combination of two vowels. The sound moves or glides from the first vowel sound to the next vowels without a pause or abstraction. For example, when you pronounce high, vowel A will directly glide to E, and many other example of diphthong as you can see on the screen. Okay, I think that's all the explanation of 5 points in phonology. I hope you can get it, and thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.